What's going on, everybody? Mike here with iSMELL. Hope this video is finding everybody well, that y'all are smelling good and feeling great. As some of y'all might have just noticed from the thumbnail, today we are in fact teaming up with Alan over at Fragrance Fight Night. Not only is Alan the homie, he just so happens to be one of the most creative people in this entire fragrance space. Y'all are definitely in for a treat today. So, for those of y'all that are new here, this is how it's gonna work. Here in a second, I'm gonna hand it on over to Alan. He's gonna run you through some of his favorite winter fragrances right now. He'll kick it off back to me, and then I'll be doing the same. In totality, this will be a top 10 list of winter fragrances, which should definitely be on your radar for 2022. In the spirit of not rambling though, I will go ahead and hand it on over to Alan now. I do hope to see y'all back over here in a few.
Thanks, Mike. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. If you guys haven't seen me before, my name is Alan, and I come from a little channel called Fragrance Fight Night. If you haven't been there, go check it out and make sure you subscribe. If this is your first time seeing Mike, make sure you subscribe to his channel too. If it's your first time seeing both of us, double subscribe, baby, double subscribe. I'm here to discuss with you today 5 of my favorite wintertime fragrances. When you think about fragrances that are perfect for the winter, you're going to think about things that are warmer and more comfortable and sweeter. Because not only do those fragrances last the best in the cold weather, but if you're into the holidays, they can definitely help you get into that holiday spirit. So let's get busy and let's get into my 5 suggestions for great wintertime fragrances. Wait a minute. This is a wintertime video with wintertime fragrances. Something's not right. What is the issue here? I don't understand. Every other time things work perfectly. Like, what is the problem? Come on, man. All right. Now we're talking. Winter fragrances, baby. Let's go. This first fragrance is a fragrance that I talk about on a regular basis because I love it so much. And it's also not a fragrance that I'll just keep for the cold weather. I'll wear this thing anytime, anywhere. However, it's probably best suited for the cold weather months. It's an amazing ambery leather fragrance that's gonna last you pretty much all day. And it's gonna have you smelling like you just came from the Handsome Fella factory. I think we all know what I'm talking about. That's your Tom Ford ombre leather. Like I said, I love wearing this thing all the time, but this thing shines in the cold weather. It lasts, it smells amazing, and it's especially perfect if you're one of those leather jacket kind of guys. It's one of the best leather fragrances that they have out there, hands down. And I'll probably suggest this thing until they don't even make it anymore. Like, seriously, that's Tom Ford ombre leather. At this point, I think it's pretty clear that I really enjoy those dark leathery type fragrances whenever it's cold outside. And this next fragrance is absolutely no exception. This one might be discontinued, but it might not be, so don't quote me on that. But you could still find it pretty easily on the internet. And this fragrance is definitely one that I save for the colder weather. That's right, it's John Varvatos' Dark Rebel. Similar to ombre leather, Dark Rebel has leather as well, but it's got so much more going on than what ombre leather has going on. Ombre leather is more of a ambery leather patchouli, while Dark Rebel is also boozy, and it adds tobacco, and it gives you some woodiness in there as well. Like ombre leather, Dark Rebel is also one of those fragrances that are great for like a leather jacket scenario. It's perfect for the cold. It actually holds up really, really well. It's potent, it's sweet, and in my opinion, it's perfect for the winter weather. That's John Varvatos' Dark Rebel. When I think about cold weather and cold weather fragrances, my brain jumps straight to Christmas time fragrances. And this fragrance is absolutely one of my favorite Christmas time fragrances. I think a lot of people talk about this one because a lot of people talk about this one, but in my case, I actually wear the crap out of this stuff and I love it so much. It's warm, it's cozy, it's inexpensive, and it's perfect for the holiday season. That's right, that's Burberry London. I don't care what anybody says, Burberry London is straight fire during the holiday season. We're carrying on some leather nuances from the other fragrances, but this fragrance isn't really about that life. This fragrance is more about the tobacco and the cinnamon and this weird Christmas tree vibe that it gives off, which makes it absolutely perfect for the Christmas time season. In the winter, don't leave home without it. And if you don't have it, get off your butt and go and buy it, because this thing is awesome. That's Burberry London. This next fragrance is another fragrance that I recommend to people all the time because it's one of my absolute favorite cold weather fragrances. It's the ultimate hoodie weather fragrance. It's the ultimate sweater weather fragrance. It's a perfect cold weather fragrance. One of the absolute best cold weather fragrances you're gonna find. That's Paco Rabanne, Pure Excess. Some people are fans of the Paco Rabanne Pure Excess Night, which is fine, but I prefer to go with the OG original Pure Excess. This is a sweet and cozy cold weather fragrance that a lot of people will say reminds them of something like a vanilla cola or some sort of cola float. It definitely gives you that, but it never gets too sweet or too crazy. It opens up with like a fizzy cola vibe, but then you get hit with some myrrh. The myrrh helps to make it a little more resinous and earthy and on the verge of smoky, which makes this an outstanding wintertime fragrance. I'm never not going to recommend it. I love you, bro. That's Paco Rabanne Pure Excess. Last, but most certainly not least, is a fragrance that's brand new. It's coming out this year right around Christmas time, and I was fortunate enough to get my hands on it. There's not even notes online about this fragrance yet, so basically, you're gonna have to listen to my stupid mouth regarding what the heck this thing smells like. God bless us, everyone. This has quickly become one of my favorite cold weather fragrances, and I have been wearing the crap out of it. That's right, that's Tom Ford Cherry Smoke. This thing is phenomenal. If you like the original Lost Cherry, you're gonna love this one. And if you thought maybe it was a little bit too sweet or too feminine, you're gonna really love this one. That Lost Cherry DNA is still in there, but this one adds a bit of depth and a bit of richness and a bit of smokiness. I would definitely say all of these things make this kind of a more masculine version of Lost Cherry, although it's definitely still unisex. It's got a bit of a powdery cherry, and from what I could tell is some spices, and it also kind of reminds me of the woodiness you get from like an oud wood, you know what I mean? So kind of like a Lost Cherry with a little tad of that oud wood, and then a little bit of smokiness. This thing is phenomenal. It's perfect for the cold weather, I promise. Pick it up when you can. You're not gonna regret it. Blind buy it, I don't even care, just do it. That is Tom Ford Cherry Smoke. Well guys, that's my 5, that's all I got. Mike, I look forward to hearing what your 5 fragrances are, and I want to thank all of you for coming and joining me in this beautiful winter wonderland. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button and also hit the like button. It's the holiday season. Have some compassion. I hope to see all of you guys come and visit me over at Fragrance Fight Night. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. I love you. Peace.
Thank you, Alan, for providing some of your favorite winter fragrances with us. Coming into this, I knew you would nail it. You absolutely did. Everybody go sub to Alan's channel right now. He is one of the most creative people in this entire space, and I'm gonna stand on that. But I'm not gonna keep y'all here too long. I'm gonna jump right into my portion of the list. And what I wanna say about this first fragrance is that it is one that I've wanted for the better part of a year now. So safe to say I am more than thrilled to finally have it in my collection. Fragrance number 1 comes from Paco Rabanne. The name of this discontinued hype beast goes by the name of 1 Million Privé. So yeah, like I was saying, I did pick this one up in a local and private sale off of Mercari, so no shipping, no delivery. I got the 3.4 ounce for right around $100. Anybody who is aware of what this fragrance is going for right now knows that that is an absolute steal. I want to send a big shout out to Tony, the guy who sold me this fragrance. Again, I appreciate you, man. I do hope you get a chance to check out this video. I will be texting you. The notable notes on 1 million Privé are going to include cinnamon, tobacco, myrrh, tonka, mandarin, as well as patchouli. In terms of how this one smells, it's a sweet but also slightly spicy fragrance with a warm and beautifully resinous dry down. I will say it does retain some of that playful, youthful vibe of the OG, but 1 million Privé specifically is going to come across as the most masculine out of the entire 1 million line. This one is going to open up with some spicy sweet mandarin orange and cinnamon being blended with a damp tobacco, and again, that beautiful resinous warm myrrh. You're also going to have some semi-sweet tonka bean and patchouli thrown into the mix. It just gives the composition a little bit of depth and a little bit of complexity. I will also note that although apple is not listed in the note breakdown, there is kind of an apple vibe on this one. Coming into this, I had read on Fragrantica that people said it had an apple pastry type of vibe, and I can confirm that. It's a beautiful fragrance, you guys. It's a beautifully smelling fragrance from start to finish. I am aware that it is discontinued, so this one can kind of get expensive. Personally speaking, I would not sell a kidney trying to acquire this fragrance, but if you can find one at a reasonable price, my advice would be to scoop it up. I am so incredibly happy that I finally have it in my collection, and it's going to be getting a ton of wear this winter. Definitely a fragrance that's going to be in my winter rotation. At the number 1 spot from Paco Rabanne, we have 1 million Privé. Okay, so what would a winter list be without the inclusion of a solid iris-based scent profile thrown into the mix? That's exactly the direction we're going to be going with this next one. Fragrance number 2 comes from the house of Dior. It's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. The name of this beauty is Dior Homme Parfum. So I will not be doing a deep dive on this fragrance today, as it's one I already have a full and in-depth review of. If that's something that you think you would be interested in, I will leave a marker somewhere up there. What I will say about this fragrance though is it is a beautiful dichotomy of both feminine notes bouncing off of masculine notes, and the perfumer Francois Damashi does an excellent, a masterful job really of striking a balance between the two. The notable notes on Dior Homme Parfum are going to include orange, iris, leather, rose, sandalwood, as well as ambrette. In terms of how this one smells, on my skin at least, it is absolutely magic. Assuming, of course, you can appreciate a fragrance that leans a bit on the metrosexual side, because there are some feminine notes in this fragrance. It includes, like I said, both iris as well as rose. This one is going to open up with some orange notes that transition seamlessly into that signature iris that is powdery and lipsticky, the type of iris that is synonymous, or used to be synonymous, with the Dior Homme line. That's what you're going to get for the majority of the fragrance, but there also is going to be both leather and rosy facets thrown into the mix, but by no means is this what I would consider to be a heavy dominant rose leather fragrance. It's just facets to add extra complexity. That's what you get for the majority of the fragrance. My favorite part though is going to be the dry down. This is a fragrance that does develop. In the dry down, you are going to get warm, musky, and slightly animalic ambrette musk and sandalwood. I love the note of sandalwood, so it makes sense, and I love the note of iris, so it makes sense why I would love this fragrance so much. This fragrance does fetch a pretty penny at this point, as it's kind of hard to find, as well as it's discontinued or might or not be. I don't know. There is a debate going on about that. Either way, it's hard to get in the United States. I wouldn't sell a kidney again trying to acquire this fragrance because it is so situational, but if you can find one at a decent price, scoop it up, because this is a case where you are going to be getting your money's worth. Definitely a fragrance that I reach for every winter. Again, it's one of my favorite fragrances of all time, so why would I not? At the number 2 spot from Dior, we have Dior Homme Parfum. Okay, so at this point we have a tobacco fragrance as well as an iris fragrance. What I want to do now is add a vanillic type of scent profile thrown into the rotation. This is something that has a festive vibe about itself and something that can be pulled off around the holidays. I do believe this next one fits the bill perfectly. Fragrance number 3 comes from Emporio Armani. The name of this fragrance is Stronger With You Absolutely. So in the case of Stronger With You Absolutely, I do need to let you know that you are going to be acquiring a fragrance that bears some similarities to other fragrances out there, most notably Azzaro's The Most Wanted, almost even to the point where, in my opinion, it would be redundant to own both. If you don't already own The Most Wanted by Azzaro though, I do think this one is a great alternative, and it's my honest and humble opinion that I think Stronger With You Absolutely has a bit more going on in the composition. The notable notes in Absolutely are going to include chestnut, vanilla, rum, lavender, elemi resin, as well as Davana. In terms of how this one smells, you are getting a sweet, warm fragrance with both vanillic and boozy nuances. You are going to have some aromatic lavender thrown into the mix and then some bitter green herbal facets as well. The result is a fragrance that is absolutely intoxicating. No pun intended. I couldn't help myself. If you are looking for a signature cold weather fragrance, in my opinion, this one is the whole package. It is blended well, priced appropriately, smells good, has awesome performance, and an extremely high likability factor. For those of y'all that do value compliments, I know a lot of y'all do, this is a fragrance that's gonna get the job done. Definitely a fragrance that I'm gonna be reaching for this year, this winter. I've already started reaching for it. I actually wore it on Thanksgiving, and I will continue to wear it for the rest of this winter. At the number 3 spot from Emporio Armani, we have Stronger With You Absolutely. Okay, so as we move into this 4th fragrance, I do need to admit that I was a little hesitant to even feature it in the first place, as I already and literally just featured it in my latest video. But the truth of the matter is, if I'm being honest with y'all as well as honest with myself, it's a fragrance that I not only intend to reach for during the fall, but I also intend to reach for it this winter. Fragrance number 4 comes from Alexandria Fragrances. The name of this one is ETE Sauvage Elixir. So as the name would suggest, Alexandria's version of Sauvage Elixir is an excellent reinterpretation of Dior's Sauvage Elixir, mind you, at a fraction of the price. A full-size 100 milliliter from Alexandria is only going to cost you $100, whereas Dior's version is going to cost you over $150 for the 50, 60 mil or whatever it is. Not to mention, I've been hearing tons of reports, more than one, several people have already told me that the newer batches of Dior Sauvage Elixir, its performance is trash, it's ass, it's not worth the money. So that would create some extra appeal if you're looking for a cost-effective alternative. The notable notes in Alexandria's version of Sauvage Elixir is going to be cinnamon, nutmeg, lavender, licorice, sandalwood, as well as amber. In terms of how this one smells, it's a balance of everything fresh, spicy, smoky, sweet. It's a great fragrance. Everything that you would come to expect from a blue fragrance. I said it before and I'll say it again. It retains the modern blue trendy vibe that we have all come to know and love, but what glues this composition together at its very core is something musky and old school. It has an old school, mature vibe about itself. Assuming you love blue fragrances, I really can't recommend this enough. If you're looking for a fragrance that has a high likability factor, smells great, and has gonna be a versatility monster and great performance, let me add that. This is definitely one worth checking out. It's one that I am absolutely, without a doubt, going to be wearing a ton this winter. At the number 4 spot from Alexandria Fragrances, we have ETE Sauvage Elixir. Okay, so as we move into this 5th and final fragrance, I do need to let y'all know that initially it wasn't a fragrance that I even particularly cared for to wear on myself. Although I enjoyed the way it smelt on other people, initially it's a fragrance that I felt to be a bit feminine leaning. Now that I have progressed along in my fragrance journey, it is one that I have come to wear and come to enjoy when I do wear it. Last but not least, at the number 5 spot today, from Al Haramain, we have Amber Oud Rouge. So this one here is going to be similar in both name as well as smell to the iconic Baccarat Rouge 540, more specifically speaking, the X-Straight version. There isn't going to be a ton of notes in this fragrance, but what you're going to pick up on is going to include saffron, ambergris, musk, cedar, as well as jasmine. Similar to BR540, what you can expect to smell on this fragrance is a full-bodied, burnt sugar, candied floss type vibe that comes across as smelling warm, musky, ambery, floral, and aromatic all at the same time. This is the type of fragrance, because it is so iconic, that people are going to recognize when you wear it. It has a very posh demeanor about itself, has eternal longevity, not to mention at the end of the day, who's going to be able to really tell the difference? And this one here is at a fraction of the cost. If you enjoy the Baccarat Rouge 540 DNA and you want one at a fraction of the cost, it makes sense to pick this one up. There are rumblings that this one has been discontinued, but I did confirm before hitting record today that there are a gratuitous amount of bottles on Mercari for about $60 to $80, and that's not necessarily breaking the bank. Mind you, this fragrance, I'm here to let you know, you guys, 8 to 10 hours easy. You'll smell it, you'll go anosmic, and then you'll smell it again many hours later. It's definitely a fragrance that I'm glad that I did not sell, because now I can get the rotation and I can start wearing it. I will also let you know, as a side note, that Sunset Riot by All Saints is an excellent alternative as well. But in the case, I don't have that one, but in the case of today's video, at the number 5 spot, we have from Al Haramain, we have Amber Oud Rouge. Alright guys, that's pretty much going to be a wrap for today. Those are 10 fragrances that should definitely be on your radar this winter for 2022. Again, I want to shout out Alan. Thank you so much, brother, for doing this. I really do appreciate it. If you're not already subbed to Alan's channel, leave here immediately and go check out his channel. I will leave a link in the description below to his channel. Do that. You will get good karma from it. If you enjoy fragrance related content, if you enjoy what you just heard today, by all means, feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's free dollars. It doesn't cost you anything. Listen, I can't sit here and promise you that I have a ton of content coming down the pipe, but I do promise you that every single time I upload, you will be getting an authentic, honest, and unbiased opinion. I really do love and appreciate all of you. Until next time, you guys, y'all take care. Stay safe. I'll see y'all around. Bye.